Stealing Focus!
Hi everybody, I'm Emily Clark and I'm here with Stealing Focus, Real Thoughts, and I'm here with a couple of friends of mine, Jenelle and Eric, and we just saw Love Never Dies.
I don't know what we just saw.
I don't know what the fuck we just saw, you guys. So this is a sequel to Phantom of the Opera, and it's been workshopped a lot, and there have been a lot of different productions and versions, and for whatever reason, the Pantages decided to bring it to LA for 3 weeks, so we decided to go see it. Thoughts?
Well, first of all, Andrew Lloyd Webber says it's not a sequel. I was just reading a quote from it. Yes, I know. At first he said, I don't regard this as a sequel. It's a standalone piece. Later he clarified, clearly it's a sequel. But I do not believe that you have to have seen Phantom of the Opera to understand Love Never Dies. I don't view it as a sequel so much as a second story with these characters. That's actually the definition of a sequel.
So, right before the show started, I turned to you guys and asked, what would it take? What would it take for you guys to get on board with this show?
I said great songs.
I said a good book.
Weird. We value different things.
We got neither.
So Eric is really good at doing his homework, and he listened to the concept album.
Yeah, apparently it's the original concept album.
And how did it compare?
Well, a lot of it's the same, but the big song, the only song that I wanted to see, was completely ruined by the new show, by the new version of the show. You know, like you were saying, Lloyd Webber can do hooks. He can do pop and rock hooks, and that's all I want from him. And he has the one song, the Beauty Underneath, that is, it rocks. You guys, we listened to it in the car on the way, and it's good, and it was not good.
It was not good. The Beauty Underneath was not good. So the idea.
Please tell me, because I'm still trying to figure out what I just saw.
Okay, so Christine gets hired, because she's an amazing singer now, to go to Coney Island to perform for Oscar Hammerstein. Hammerstein did not have the clout that he would have in 1920 when he did Showboat, and not even near what he would have in the 40s when he teamed up with Richard Rodgers to do Oklahoma.
Maybe it was his dad. That's how he is Oscar Hammerstein II.
He is Oscar Hammerstein II.
You don't want Oscar Hammerstein's name in these people's filthy mouths, is what you're saying.
Yes.
You think Andrew Lloyd Webber should not be invoking the name.
I'm gonna have a bruise for every time she punched me.
I got a lot of this, too.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of that during the show. I mean, it's a nitpick. It's definitely not going to ruin your enjoyment of the show. There's a lot
Wait a
of other
minute.
things. But
It'll all be ruined.
this was my nitpick. All right, you guys go.
Oh, there was a giant mask on stage.
You guys,
yeah.
there was
the subtlety. The subtlety. The set would come out and one half would be a giant phantom mask. Also,
but it was twisted.
yeah.
It was twisted, but then there was just a floating
eye.
eyeball.
Yeah.
And the eye changes color at different points.
But you see what I'm complaining? I'm making jokes about subtlety, but I wanted less subtlety. I wanted that bombastic dun 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 dun. And
yeah,
it did, like, if you're gonna do a sequel, it has to be bigger and crazier, and this felt really small.
It felt toned down.
Yeah.
And I feel like it was the result of them like starting off big and bombastic, and then at some point getting notes going, we gotta tone it down.
But little things too, like I was complaining about how, like, you remember the Phantom of the Opera, his entrances.
Yeah.
You know, he'd like come through mirrors and he'd jump into holes, and the Phantom uses doors in this, and it really upset me. It's just like Phantom is like
he just like walks in through the window, like,
and then walks
in the
out
curtains.
a door. The Phantom doesn't use doors.
He relieves the bartender.
That's right.
Oh my God. Okay.
Shakes a cocktail or two.
So here's another big thing we have to talk about. So top of Act 2, there are these songs. Why Does She Love Me? Devil Take the Hindmost. You know, those old familiar chestnuts. And Eric, before we saw the show, he says to me, they utilize the Cape Fear theme. And we had done Mr. Burns recently, where the Cape Fear theme is very in our brain. So it's that da 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 wah 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 wah. And I was kind of like, oh, okay, they must play it like kind of in passing chords or something. it is a major motif in these like first 2 to 3 songs in the opening of Act 2, where he sings, "Oh my Christine, I love you, girl." Like it's
Are those the lyrics? I love you.
spot on, right? Spot on, right?
See, I would have liked to have seen that.
So it's really like, again, like it's not really super noticeable unless you had Mr. Burns in your head recently or something, but like it's the Cape Fear theme. It's da 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 da.
Can we talk about the plot of this show, because it is fucking bananas?
Oh please,
Yes.
let's talk about the plot of this show.
So it turns out that 10 years ago, when the Christine and Phantom first met, that wasn't a kidnapping, it was love.
No, apparently that whole thing where she wasn't really into it, where it was really creepy for her, where it was a whole lesson about being, you know, how obsession stuff can be your downfall. No, it was just love.
And all those times that the Phantom killed people or tried to kill
love.
Raoul, you know, that's just sort of like swept under the rug. So
love.
we learned that the Phantom and Christine shared a passionate night together. I really want to know where in Phantom of the Opera this
When
passionate
did
night-
this happen? And then she keeps saying, you left me because I thought you were dead.
Yeah.
And I was like,
When did she leave her?
I thought you were like, bae, at the end of Phantom. I thought she was like, bae, I gotta go be with Raoul, bye.
So is that night of passion supposed to have happened after that? Or, because if it happened at any time during Phantom of the Opera, like when she passed out, or, well, that would be a whole other story. But there's like any time when they had any of their interactions, if we're supposed to believe there was a night of passion, then, you know, it doesn't paint either of them in the best light.
Whoever wrote this fan fiction needed to do their
is
homework, because
fan
it is fan fiction, the musical. It is fan fiction.
And something that you see coming from scene 1 is, when you know it, Christine has a 10-year-old child with Raoul that Raoul doesn't really take to.
And apparently Raoul's just like a dick now. He's just a dick.
Yeah,
he's just a dick.
He's a drunk, he's a gambler.
Yeah.
Ugh.
The worst.
That's the best scene, when they come off the pier into America and there's all these reporters who are like, it's basically early TMZ.
Oh,
Like,
yes,
we
yes.
hear you gambled away all her fortune. Pose for photo, please.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
And then they're all like, what are you going to do, little Gustav? What are you going to do in NYC? You're going to go to the Statue of Liberty? And then the kid has the gall to say, I want to go to Coney Island. Stupid idiot child. Like, don't kids want to go to roller coasters?
I wanna go to
and
Coney
shit?
Island.
Like, I'm sorry. I'm sorry that was a dumb answer for you, stupid, 1910 paparazzi, but whatever.
So they actually reveal pretty early. Well, first in Act
Oh my
1,
God, there's
the
no
Phantom
reveals in this show.
Tries to kill Gustav, the kid.
Yeah, he pulls a Michael Jackson on the balcony,
tries to throw him off a
puts him
balcony.
on the balcony after he and Christine sing their "And I touched you, and I loved you, and we had sex,
For
and we
40
did
minutes.
this." And every sentence starts with "and," and it just keeps going. Gustav comes in and he's like, "Hey, Mom, who's this guy?" And then instantly, Phantom is super like,
Inappropriate.
he's
Really
like touching his face all the time, and the kid's like, "I'm into it."
Yeah.
Like, it's so weird.
He puts him on like a balcony.
Puts him on the
and, like,
balcony,
threatens
tries to
throw him
Michael
off.
Jackson him, and then Christine's like, "Yeah, you should hang out with our son."
Show him around Coney Island tomorrow. Yeah.
And then they go on their fucking trip to Coney Island.
Which is supposed to be, I feel like, when we enter the Phantom's lair in Phantom of the Opera, it's supposed to be like this big
the
number.
beauty underneath.
And that's why they put that's why it's a big rock, or was a big rock song right there.
And it's
Take the
like,
places-
it's teepees made out of mirrors.
Yeah, teepees, almost like prisms, like around the stage that apparently the sideshow freaks are in. They're just in them.
And where are we?
You can barely see them. I don't know. I mean, we are just in some Coney Island backdrop that looks like Homer Simpson's head.
Before we get there though, he's already forced Christine to agree to sing.
Oh yes, we forgot the plot.
Fucking
Yes.
plot. This fucking
He's
plot.
brought her
You guys-
there. He says,
He says, I'll outbid Oscar Hammerstein.
Hammerstein. There it is again. Yes.
With his 19
I'll pay off all your
10
debts.
clout.
You just do one song for me.
And I won't kill the boy.
Yeah, he throws that in
He
there.
says that, doesn't
Yeah.
he?
And I missed all of that because I was sitting there going, what the fuck am I watching with them trying to drop this kid off the balcony? Like, this is so weird. And then he gets to hang out with Gustav a lot, and then like big reveal.
Gustav is into dark things.
Oh, he and Gustav straight up have the "Sing My Angel of Music" moment where Gustav's like,
He even does a lot of like this.
yeah, and great little boy. All the actors were amazing. We can talk about them in a second. They were amazing. Like, it was really refreshing to have, like, oh my God, like hearing actual opera singers singing these songs. It was great. Made it worth it. But like, he's singing this with the little boy and doing all that stuff he did with Christine, and you're just like, this makes me uncomfortable.
It made me uncomfortable when he did it with Christine, but like a 10-year-old boy. And somehow he realizes, Night of Passion 10 years ago, kid who's into creepy things and has musical ability.
Must be mine! Oh, here's the other thing. Remember little Meg Ballerina?
Oh, it turns out she was the villain all along.
Wanna talk about little Meg Ballerina? She's the fucking bad guy. Because apparently, she had a thing for the Phantom too. You never know because they don't have a single scene together, a single exchange. Nothing happens with them in the first show or this one, but apparently she's all like butthurt because he's all into Christine.
And they helped him escape at the end of the first Phantom.
Yeah.
And they brought him to Coney Island where somehow he became a prosperous businessman. It's implied because Meg was performing sexual favors for investors.
Apparently.
Yeah.
Yeah. And Madame Giry, Meg's mom, is there. And she was really good. She had a lot of good, I mean, she was useless, but she had a lot of good in the mask singing. She was really good.
She, in the first one, had an accent that seems to have completely
No accent in this one, not at all. Yeah, it was, oh God.
So then Phantom switches out the bartender.
Oh yes, we're on to Act 2. Act 2.
When the wah, 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 wah starts.
And Raul's in a bar somewhere drinking his sorrows away. And the bartender is
singing Why Does She Love Me? And every time he asked that in the song, I went, I don't know.
No.
I don't know. I knew in the first musical.
So the bartender refuses to turn around for a long period of time. And we all know what's coming.
Long period of time.
Yeah. But it was funny because when he did turn around and revealed he'd replaced the bartender.
Oh, and you get that big gasp from the audience. He was there the whole time.
And Eric actually had a good question. Did he kill the bartender?
He must have.
We never see him
everybody
again.
who gets in his way.
He's just yeah, but it's so dreamy.
But now this is the woke Phantom.
Yeah. Well, should we give away? Should we spoiler? Before we get into the spoiler, I think we need to talk about the deal that was made.
I'm pretty sure I understand what the deal is. So Phantom tells Raul that he will pay off all the debts if Christine sings his song.
Which she's contractually obligated to do at this point. And he's threatened to kill her kid if she doesn't.
Right. So if she doesn't sing his song, then he'll let them all go
and pay off Raul's debts. She's basically choosing between him and Raul. But like it's actually kind of offensive. It's a little she's all that. Like it's these two men betting over a woman.
Well, whose Christine is she? Is she my Christine? Is she my Christine?
Oh, my Christine. They all tend to say that in the show. My Christine.
Oh, Christine.
Yeah, and the thing is, even then, when she gets out, so she has her never enough moment.
She's all Christine.
Never enough. She comes out to sing her song. And the thing is, this show left so little impression on me that I would never know if she was singing the Phantom song or not. And I think they knew that in the staging because they deliberately put the Phantom and Raul there, down right and down left. And she starts her song and Raul goes and walks off. And I was like, okay, well, I guess that's the Phantom song then. Because I would have never known. I would have never known.
So wait, she's not singing the Phantom song?
No, she is singing the Phantom song. That's why Raul goes and walks off.
Okay.
And then that's why and then she and Phantom like make out when she gets off the stage.
Uncomfortable.
And then, okay, so then spoiler alert, the big ending, which I'm not kidding, I legit thought it was the middle of Act 2. I thought there was like at least
You wanted more?
I did not want more. I just felt like the story was so incomplete. I was like, this is it? This is the climax? So Meg goes crazy, I guess, for reasons. And she's like, Gustav, come with me to the pier. And the Pantages makes excellent use of the Hamilton turntable that they still have installed on that stage.
Is it still from Hamilton?
And
did they do a show?
And they were definitely using that turntable on the stage.
You have to have it for most shows, don't you?
We got a turntable.
Yes.
Love Never Dies.
Well, Les Mis in Hamilton.
And Phantom.
3 shows.
The 3 shows.
The big 3.
You can't have a musical without
So they took good use of their Hamilton turntable, and Meg's like, throw Gustav off the pier or something.
Oh, no, the best part is when they're trying to figure out where they've gone, the Phantom says, I know where she's gone. How?
He just knew.
How does he know? That
He just knew.
There's been no...
Because apparently he has magic powers.
She took him to the pier because she's a bathing beauty on the beach.
Well, we're going to get into that. We're going to get into that. Sorry, go to the pier, and then she's like, I'm mad. And then she throws Gustav at them, and then she's like, I'm going to kill myself with this gun. And they're like, don't do it. And then, gun, bang. And then, oh no, Christine got shot! Well, Christine dies in the Phantom's arms.
Yeah.
And it ends with Gustav oh, there you are, Peter, to like Phantom's face.
Yeah.
And that's the end of the show.
Because the previously when Gustav has seen the Phantom's face, he's freaked out.
Oh yeah, at the end of the beauty underneath, Phantom is all really intensely clutching at Gustav, like a little too much. Like kind of how we would clutch at Christine, like a little too much. And they're all into it, and then Gustav, and then he like pulls the mask off for Gustav, and Gustav's like, runs away.
Yep.
Runs away.
He runs away also when Christine decides in her dying breaths to tell her 10-year-old son that the creepy guy who's been stalking them this whole time is daddy.
Yeah, because that's good and important. You know, the guy who's been taking care of you and can pay for you, he's not really your dad.
But then Raul shows up at the end, so it's this weird thing where like...
Yeah, and then
Christine's
Phantom passes, it's so weird. Phantom's holding her, and then Raul comes in, and Phantom's like, oh, here, she's dead now. Dead body, here, slide on in, hug the dead body while I go to the edge of the pier and cry while Gustav comes over and hugs me.
I think it's supposed to be a callback to like the end of Phantom of the Opera when Christine kisses him, and it's like this tender moment, and it's a 10-year-old boy. Did no one read this script? They've had so many workshops and so many versions. I can't believe this is the best.
And that's the other thing. So the show starts with a song called Till I Hear You Sing.
You see the Phantom right off the bat.
It's the Phantom song right off the bat. He's behind a scrim at his organ writing music.
Yeah.
There is no purpose for this song. There is no
except to see him gesticulate.
I guess it's to tie this show to the original, but like it's so stupid. And then instantly afterwards, you're in Coney Island and Coney Island magic and all this stuff. So
and then it becomes The Greatest Showman. A guy comes out in a circus outfit with a couple circus freaks, and they start to sing.
They waste... I'm so sick of these shows that waste the idea of being in a circus and using circus freaks. Like, The Greatest Showman did it. This show did it too. Like, their first song about Coney Island doesn't even sound like a Coney Island song. There's a lot of musicals that have written songs about, like, shit like this. Like, Ragtime has great songs about that. Like, being on the pier and, like, what a fun turn of the 19th century time we're having, And this, it was just atonal and minor and gross, and it didn't sound like a fun, like, come to the circus, come play with us song. It was just like, here it is.
We got out of this show less than 2 hours ago, and I don't remember a single song.
This is
No, that's good.
Yeah, I remember Love Never Dies.
Yes.
Oh, the other thing is they, and I remember wah, 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 but they also use a few melodies from the original.
Yes.
But none of the good ones. Like Phantom's first appearance, you're expecting it to be ba, ba, da, 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 but instead I think it's ba, ba, da, da. So it's not nearly as interesting. But they do the da, 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 that motif, which I don't think is from an actual song because it's recitative so much in the original. By the way, if you like recitative, go see Love Never Dies.
What does that word mean?
That means, you know how like in an opera you can't just talk? So what you do is they write little melodies for those little conversations that aren't the big set piece songs. So like in Les Mis, and Angela Weber does this a lot too, where you recycle like old melodies in the shows for their like conversations. So it was a lot of Meg coming up to her going to her mom going, "Mother, did you hear me sing? I did the thing that you heard me sing. It was great. Did you love it?" Like that's like what a recitative is. And then she would segue into the song.
That first hotel room scene with Gustav wants to play. He has a bunch of those.
I don't even remember that.
The first scene with with Christine and the Phantom is so long.
So long.
It's so effing long, and
It's just a lot of retconning that needs to be done.
it's a lot of retconning, it's an exposition dump. It changes everything in this one scene.
Oh, and can we say when she first sees the Phantom, what's the first thing she does?
She faints.
Again.
She faints. The first time she sees the Phantom, again, she faints. Then he picks her up, puts her in the chair, sticks his face near her face like crazy, and then she wakes up and she's like, "The fuck you doing here?" Like, are we past the point of no return where she could stop effing fainting when she sees this guy that apparently she had a freaking child with? Scene 5. It's by far the most scenes in the first act.
Oh my god, look at all those songs.
Yeah, 5 songs in the first act. What a Dreadful Town, Look With Your Heart, Beneath a Moonless Sky, Once Upon Another Time, and Mother Please, I'm Scared.
It's so long.
Those are song titles. And Phantom just shows up, she faints, she wakes up, she's like, "What are you doing here?" And he's like, "Remember when we had sex?" And she's like, "Oh yeah, apparently so."
And then you left the next
And then Gustav comes in and he's like, "Mom, I'm tired. You've been having this whole song in the other room." Raoul doesn't hear any of it.
Raoul's gone to meet Hammerstein.
Oh, right. He's
Yeah.
going to hang out with Hammerstein. Maybe Sondheim was there. I don't know. But, like...
That was a setup, though.
Yeah.
I think Phantom's...
There was no Hammerstein.
There was no Hammerstein!
There was any Hammerstein.
It was
He's so
diabolical the whole
diabolical.
time. You guys, this show is so dumb. I mean, this is the dumbest thing.
And you were open to liking it, weren't you? I feel like if I mean, there's a part of me that was really secretly hoping it would win me over, and then I saw the sequin mask and I got worried.
The mask has sequins, but not in the show.
Because it's Phantom to the extreme.
Look, musical theater sequels rarely happen.
Never work.
And they never work. There was one for Annie, there was one for Bye Bye Birdie. This is probably, arguably the most successful and well-known. So on the one hand, you didn't have to build up any character development to start it off because they're treating it like, I don't know, the freaking Avengers, where like you just should know these characters already. But on the other hand, it's bad. It's badly written. It's a bad book. It's bad storytelling. It's just a bad show. Musicals don't work that way. They're not like movies. You've got to be able to come in and just, you know, one-off it, you know? And this just was, ugh.
Can I say I did like the Phantom, and his name, the actor who played him, is the greatest name I've ever heard. It's Gardar Thor Cortez.
Gardar Thor Cortez.
There's a lot going on there.
That's like, I feel like that's like Celtic and Norse and Spanish all at the same
What's
time.
going on there?
Apparently, because you know the original Phantom, the mask, at least for the publicity, is a full mask.
Oh.
But they changed it because of mic issues. So literally the only reason why the mask
why
is
it's a half mask?
is because they needed, because it was the 80s and you needed those mics like that.
Wow.
Yeah. It's a broken record thing on our show, but like truly the cast, the actors, the performers were amazing.
Bless their
It
hearts.
is so, you know, we just watched the Phantom film the other day in preparation.
Yes, we did.
And it's really nice and refreshing to see some true to life opera singers singing the song. Like Christine sang Love Never Dies, and it was truly exactly like Never Enough from The Greatest Showman, which might have been ripping this off. It was just a big, you know, singing star standing downstage center and singing the song with a spotlight on her, but she was so good. You know, hearing her sing those high soaring notes, hearing her sing high soaring notes while singing piano, singing really super quiet, it's like, oh, that's nice. That's
Eddie
really
Rawson
nice.
wasn't bad in the movie, though. I didn't feel.
She wasn't great.
Well,
She was young and she was not directed well, I would say that.
Gerard Butler was so bad.
Yeah.
That I think I'm grading on a sliding scale.
No, he's terrible. Yeah.
The Phantom.
But Love Never Dies, you guys. Like,
There's some pretty tunes.
are there?
I don't remember.
But the thing is, like, it's pretty music because Andrew Lloyd Webber writes pretty music, but like you're not gonna remember any of it. It doesn't stick with you. What sticks with you is the stupidity. Like, there's characters named Gangle, Squelch, and Fleck.
See, I didn't even catch that.
Yeah, they never say their names, obviously.
Yeah, they said it.
Did they?
They introduced themselves.
Okay,
at
well,
a big number at the top.
Again, shows how much it sticks with you. But Gangle, Squelch, and Fleck.
They never
it's
used them a second time.
Two normal sized guys and a little person gal. And they were you know, they didn't do much. They're kind of just there to like introduce the scenes. They're not actual characters.
You know, in the first one we got a boat like in a canal, and in this one we get a guy who rides an old-timey bicycle across the stage.
Okay, so also in The Beauty Underneath, like, there was this weird skeleton bird chicken thing, which I thought would be more, but it wasn't. It was like a guy on stilts, like riding those big, like, you remember like at California Adventure when they used to have the Mad Tea Party where there would be the guys riding the flamingos? So it was like that, except a big skeleton of a bird, but the front of the bird was like the mast of a ship, so it was like a man's skeleton, and I was like, ooh, how interesting, ooh, an interesting design, we're gonna do something with this. No, it's just there in the background, and then it was gone. And like the guy on the bike, like rode by on an old-timey bicycle, gone.
It looked a little like Halloween Town from Nightmare Before Christmas.
Like, yeah, because he was in the black and white,
Like that was his special skill, he rode an old-timey bicycle?
Yeah, I kept expecting like, okay, so the Phantom's there with these freaks and doing this stuff because he's weird looking, so let's explore that. Which is the same problem I have with The Greatest Showman. Let's explore this stuff that we're presenting, and then we never go into it. Like, we just don't go into it. It's just like, I'm the Phantom, and I've got a kid, and I'm weird and creepy, and apparently it's really cool and sexy that I'm threatening to throw my kid off a balcony, like, ooh,
we like bad
he's
boys.
Passionate,
What would it have taken for you?
Yeah, I mean, Eric was listening to the album and he was getting kind of excited about it.
I wanted The Beauty Underneath to be good. I just wanted that one song because I'll never give up on you, Andrew Lloyd Webber. Jesus Christ Superstar and Evita.
Wait, you like Jesus Christ Superstar?
Yes.
Did you watch it? Did you watch it live?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was really good.
Yeah,
but I
really
usually
good.
don't like it.
Oh,
What's the
I
buzz?
always
Tell me
like
what's
it.
happening. What's the buzz?
Joseph is a fun show.
Sure.
And
Cats.
then, since then,
You like cats?
almost every Lloyd Webber show has at least a couple bars.
Yeah.
That just is right in the sweet
Mommy across my
spot.
swimming pool.
Do you like Phantom?
I do. Yeah, I like. Yeah.
I don't mind.
It's the longest running Broadway musical for a reason. It's, you know,
Great songs.
catchy songs. Andrew Lloyd Webber can write a hook. He can write a catchy melody. It depends on what you want to get from your musical theater. And there's nothing wrong with wanting to go and see a big, bombastic, like, spectacle musical. And that's what he does. And there's nothing wrong with that. I just feel like there's a tolerance level for what you can take from it. I mean, it still has to be a story. It still has to be a coherent plot.
Cats would like to do.
I agree with you there. I agree with you there. Cats is an anomaly. I don't get that shit.
This makes Phantom of the Opera, which is a very flawed show, look like a masterpiece.
Makes it look like goddamn Shakespeare. Like, go see Never Dies if only just to be like, Phantom wasn't so bad.
Although the audience seemed to really like it.
Dude.
Standing all around the house.
Ovation. We got the gasps when like the really obvious plot points were announced, you know, like Christine gets shot. Gustav's your kid. Like,
I thought we were gonna come back from intermission and we were gonna have our choice of seats. I really did. It's like the producers in the producers. When
yeah,
like,
I really didn't think that there were, and we went to
they're like, this show's going horribly, ha ha ha, and you come back and people love it.
I think that's why, like, you know, this show never went to Broadway. It's toured Europe. It's had a bunch of different versions. I feel like the Pantages just had a 3-week opening in their schedule.
And a turntable.
So I would say Love Never Dies is kind of like The Room of musicals, except way better produced. You know, you can go see it and see some great spectacle and some good talented people, but boy oh boy, like, ugh. Like what a shameless cash grab. Like,
I think that was the working title.
Shameless cash grab.
Yeah.
Fanfic the musical.
Listen. Go get the original concept album and listen to the track The Beauty Underneath. And that's all the Love Never Dies you need. Because it rocks.
Yeah. Thank you everybody for watching our real thoughts on Love Never Dies. Seriously, if it comes to your town and you like musical theater, you should definitely experience it. It's ridiculous. So, thanks, Eric and Jenelle.
I still don't know what I saw. Love never dies.
Christine dies.
Oh!